1 for 10 in the series, and a throw into center field, and that will allow both runners to move up. So we saw shoddy first inning defense by the Cardinal on Friday, and it cost them a very important run with a botched ground ball and a dropped fly ball in succession. Now you have an errant pickoff throw, and it's second and third, a base hit, and you're down 2-0.
And this, I think, arguably is Fullerton's best hitter in the lineup today, I should say, with Kirshner out. A guy that's very proven, a guy that's been here, done that, now in his 4th season. Early big spot, and not a guy that gets phased by the moment.
Of course, you can be careful now. 1-0 the count, first base open, and way outside, ball 2. It's been an eventful first inning, but still no runs on the board. Werner out of the windup, and he bounces one, and that's going to get a run home. Kim scores, 1-0 Fullerton. So again, self-inflicted wounds in the first inning, just like we saw on Friday. It was 2 errors that led to a run. Today, it's an error and a wild pitch that allow the first run to score.
And especially with that open first base, if it doesn't seem like Stanford really wants to pitch to Max Ortega right now, I don't think there's any reason to mess with anything in the dirt with 2 runners in scoring position. Self-inflicted errors.
The 3-0 is a strike. There's a chopper toward second base. Actually, not a chopper. It was just a soft liner toward second base. Either way, the out is made and the side is retired, but damage done, self-inflicted damage. As the Titans push across a run on 1 hit, they leave 1. Going bottom 1 here at Sunken, and it is 1-0 Fullerton. 1-0 Cal State Fullerton. It'll be Stanford's turn in the bottom of the first inning against Bobby Mahoney. And the Cardinal lineup, very similar to what we have seen in the first 3 games of the series. Charlie Bates will be the leadoff man. The shortstop, Jimmy Nadai, who made the final out of the first inning, is at second. J.J. Moran, who's been their hottest hitter, will bat third and play third. Brady Reynolds, the DH. Rintaro Sasaki at first base. Tatum Marsh is the right fielder. Luke Lavin behind the plate. Ethan Hott in center, and Brock Sell in left field. And they will face Bobby Mahoney, 6'3" freshman from Riverside. Sinker, slider, changeup, 90 to 93 on the max velo. Had some maybe nerve issues in the first start against Cal Baptist. Hit a guy in the first inning, walked a couple, but settled down. And it will be incumbent on really both starting pitchers today to try and give their respective managers some innings. You know, the doubleheader yesterday means you, even in low-scoring games, go through a lot of pitchers, as both of these teams have. So anybody who can give them length today is kind of a hero.
I think you're looking for 4 or 5, and you'll be pretty happy if you're either of these head coaches.
Absolutely. Charlie Bates to lead it off. And the first pitch, inside corner, strike 1. Bates didn't like the call. The sophomore from right here in Palo Alto, California. Hometown kid, hometown favorite. Making the transition to shortstop this year for the Cardinal. Swings and pops one into shallow center field. That'll be Hunter Meyer camping under it, making the catch, and there is 1 out.
I would expect these Stanford bats to be pretty aggressive today, knowing the walk totals, the hit by pitches last week from Mahoney, knowing he's going to want to get back in the zone this week, a guy with good stuff. And I think it's similar to what we saw against Warner in the first inning, where you're going to want to jump on him early in the count to get some of those heaters over the middle and try to piece something together.
Jimmy Nadai, second baseman, takes ball 1. This is a Stanford team, Austin, that, again, swung the bats well in the Arizona games a week ago. And now here in the friendly confines of Sunken Diamond, just has not been able to string hits together. Breaking ball lined up the middle, but well played is Nick Miller. 4-3 on the putout, and there's 2 down.
And I think gives Fullerton some credit. I think its pitching is one of the deeper staffs. You look at last year's numbers and there was only one qualified starter, but there's a bunch of pitchers up and down that rotation, that roster last year that have rolled over into this season, and I'm a big believer that just experience at the D1 level is so big on a team like this, where they're looking to compete again in the Big West, and this is a series that they're trying to prove it, and it's paid off for them early on.
J.J. Moran takes inside barely ball one. We saw Micaiah Negrete on Friday, who looked every bit the part of an ace that Fullerton will be able to count on going forward. He was terrific for 6 innings. Outside corner, 1-1.
Then you look at Jaden Harper, who started a game yesterday. He was also very solid in that one. It's a good, deep rotation, and that's big.
Moran hitting .385, and he got under that one. Skies it a mile high left center field, and it will be Meyer calling off Beeson, and an uneventful top of the first for the Cardinal as they go 1-2-3. After one full here at Sunken Diamond, Fullerton 1, Stanford 0. Back after this. Second inning here at Sunken Diamond, and a 1-0 Fullerton lead with Cameron Kim scoring on a wild pitch in inning number 1. It'll be Britton Beeson, Nico Lombardi, and Cade O'Hara for the Titans, trying to tee off against Parker Warner. Beeson just 1 for 7 in the series, but the one was a huge hit, 2-run home run off of Nick Dugan on Friday in that 4-3 Fullerton win. He wasn't even slated to start that game, but Eli Lopez was scratched right before first pitch. They had to shuffle the lineup. Enter Beeson, exit baseball. Senior from Villa Park, California. One-0 pitch, waved at and missed. Evens the count at 1-1. Kind of a sparse crowd for a nice Sunday here on the farm. Change up low.
Still early in the season. There's good little pockets of people.
We've got a pocket of Fullerton fans as well, as we have all weekend.
Always travel well.
Yes, good fan base. And a historic program.
Yep.
That's way outside, so 2-2.
And Stanford knows very well the history of this Fullerton program right here.
They've played a lot
over
the years. A frequent season opening series, in fact. Obviously not the case this year. So 3-1 now to Britton Beeson. And that is fouled back over our heads. Might have hit the hot dog stand. The 3-2 pitch is fouled back once again.
Good sign for Stanford is the arms in the bullpen that were getting up pretty quick in the first inning have slowed down, which means A, Warner settled into the game, but B, that little tweak that he was feeling after a couple batters is likely gone and cleared by the staff.
They'll give it another go on 3-2. And there is a fly ball down the left field line, and that will land fair. And a long single for Britton Beeson. Hit it in a good spot, just inside the left field foul line. Broxell had no chance to make the catch. So the leadoff man on for the second straight inning.
Yeah, not hit particularly hard. Doesn't really matter. Hit it where they ain't. Tale as old as time, but that's kind of the Fullerton motto, right? They're not going to hit a ton of home runs. They're going to put the ball in play. They're going to force the issue and make the defense work. And up to this point in the series, the Stanford defense has struggled a little bit. That obviously not a play that Sell could have made, but the point still stands. You're forcing the issue.
It'll bring up the catcher, Nico Lombardi, and he fouls it back.
A little bit of a homecoming for Lombardi. Originally from Fremont, played at Ohlone, then San Francisco State.
just his 9th at bat of this young season. Max Ortega has done the majority of the catching so far. And bunt foul. So once again, the bunt, a heavily used tool for this Fullerton team, and nowhere more obvious than the 7th inning in Game 2 yesterday, which was one of the stranger plays you will see. I don't think I've ever seen 2 runs score on a suicide squeeze bunt as Fullerton got done yesterday. Turned out to be the difference in a 4-3 win. Waved and missed. And the second strikeout for Parker Warner. Good pitch.
Yeah, get up 0-2, and a lot of these times, a lot today when he's up in the count, he's gone to that changeup over the back foot. So I think that it looked like that's what Lombardi was inspecting. Instead, he goes slider off the back end of the plate and gets the wave and the miss.
And from a defensive standpoint, that's how it's supposed to work. When the batter fails to get the bunt down, you make him pay,
right.
You strike him out. In the first inning, Cameron Kim failed to get the bunt down, and they hit him, gave the base. Did not work out.
And again, an unearned run in the first inning, the unforced errors. You look at the sac bunt that wasn't able to be put down. We couldn't take advantage of that. You get a hit by pitch out of that. An error moved in the runners to second and third, and then the wild pitch brought him home. Those are all unforced errors.
Runner goes, pitch is fouled back. So they send Beeson, and he will retreat to first base. Kate O'Hara is the hitter. He's a shortstop. Junior from Tustin. Wears number 50. Not your prototypical shortstop jersey number, as John and I talked about on Friday. Mookie Betts was the guy who came to mind, but not a lot of 50s playing short. Breaking ball over for a strike. And it's 0-2. That play a little bit closer, but Beeson back safely.
Yeah, I can't really think of any other 50s generally on the
shortstop. Yeah. Or anywhere on the.
Maybe a big corner infield guy, but not a middle infielder.
We got more confusion. A pitch clock violation.
First this series that's gone against Stanford.
It's gone against Stanford, and the dugout's not happy about it. David Esker going back and forth with Jason Venzen, the home plate umpire. So somehow the count just went from 0-2 to 2-1.
I think he said 1-2 and pointed like it was 2-1.
Okay. Because I'm no savant, but I don't think that can happen.
No.
All right, so it is 1-2, and here is the pitch, and it is off the inside corner, and again the Stanford bench not happy that they didn't get the call there. Keep an eye on Beeson at first, who did take off earlier in the at-bat. He is running again, and the pitch is skied to right field. Tatum Marsh giving chase. A long run, makes the catch, and now Beeson's got to scurry back to first base. Nice play by Tatum Marsh.
When you recruit center fielders after center fielder, and you stick them in the corners, good things are going to happen. So Marsh, who was a good defensive center fielder as a fret player, reads the ball like a center fielder in the corner, and I mean, that was a long run with those big strides out and right, and he made it look pretty easy.
Had to catch it, too, because that would have dropped fair. That'll bring up Hunter Meyer, speaking of center fielders with range. Freshman from Rancho Cucamonga. Meyer, 200 on the season. 2 for 9 in the series. 2 down, runner still at first. And a fastball on the outside corner for a strike. Another bunt foul, and that of the bunt for base hit variety. So I don't think I've ever seen I mean, I say ever, but it's been a long time since I've seen this many bunt
Right.
attempts in one series in college baseball.
Yeah, it's not very modern baseball. It's very Fullerton.
It is old school.
And it hasn't worked today, which is not very like Fullerton because they're always a team that gets those bunts down and takes advantage of other teams' mistakes.
So the 0-2 pitch is swung on and poked foul.
But it looks like they're a little bit tardy on everything that Warner's throwing right now. Even the off-speed pitches. That one, it looks like he almost caught it out of the catcher's mitt.
Well, and Warner doesn't throw particularly hard, so that speaks to his effectiveness, mixing his pitches, mixing his speeds. Lays off the slider. It's 1-2.
Also, he hides the baseball really well. He kind of twists back with the glove behind the number for a little bit, and then right at that last second splits and brings it to the plate.
Beeson goes, pitches high, throw to second is in time, and Luke Lavin does it again. He cuts down Britton Beeson, and the side is retired. No runs, 1 hit, nobody left on base, and after 1.5, it is 1-0 Titans here at Sunken Diamond. 1-0 Cal State Fullerton leading Stanford, heading to the bottom of the second inning. An unearned run in the first, the only scoring so far, as Stanford will send 4, 5, 6 to the plate. Brady Reynolds, Rintaro Sasaki, and Tatum Marsh.
3 guys all with a little bit of pop. 3 guys that can all swing it from the left side. All right, against a righty, against a younger guy. Maybe starting something starting to cook a little bit. And not the best first inning for the Cardinal.
No, and not the best offensive series
No.
for the Cardinal. We're still waiting for that breakout inning. Brady Reynolds will try to get things started.
And I should say, March hits from the right side. But still, 3 out of the next 4 are lefties against a freshman righty.
Reynolds 259 on the season, still looking for his first homer. Foul ball. In fact, Stanford, as a team, just 3 homers in the 7 games this season. This is a good day to hit.
Yeah.
Just saying.
We were just talking between innings about how toasty it is right now.
There's a chopper towards second. Miller fell down, but recovers and makes the play for the first out. Yeah, I think officially I will check the old app, but we're sitting probably right around 65
Right.
degrees, and it feels about 95
Yeah.
here in the press box with the sun beating down. Not complaining by any stretch. Certainly for you folks who happen to be watching on the East Coast and,
Right,
are
exactly.
snowed in. Yeah, 66 degrees officially right now.
I brought a jacket today. I was wrong for that.
Yeah, it's good it's protecting the back of your chair.
Right.
So here is Sasaki, Japanese sensation. Looks at strike 1. Fans still waiting for the mega breakout for the much ballyhooed high school star coming overseas. Already a #1 draft pick in Japan. And there's strike 2. Same pitch, same location.
And you look at the numbers with Sasaki, and they don't jump off the page, but the strikeout rate last season was under 20%. That's not horrible, especially with a relatively high walk rate, and you know the power is going to come at some point.
Well, and when he hits it,
He hits it.
he hits it. Went back foot, left it in the dirt, so the count is 1-2.
I think the things that impressed me most about Sasaki, just from the eye test the first couple seasons, were the plate discipline and the bat speed. You know, he's obviously a bigger guy, but he really, once he starts the bat going, it goes.
4 for 22 on this young season, does have the 1 home run, and that is right back at Bobby Mahoney. So 5 up, 5 down. for
Pretty
Mahoney.
easily the hardest hit ball of the day, though, for the Cardinal. That one right back up the box, and credit to Sasaki. He didn't just jog that one down. He was busting it out of the box the entire time.
So here's Tatum Marsh. Made the nice play on the fly ball down the line in the top of the second inning. Sophomore hitting .214. A double and a triple. Still no runs batted in, and a discussion.
I think if I'm David Esker right now, I'm saying take till 2, because it's been pretty quick for the
It's
Cardinal.
been an efficient inning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both of these innings, no batter faced more than 3 pitches back in the first for Stanford. Sasaki had the longest at bat of the day for the Cardinal, and that was 5.
Sorry to interrupt you, Austin, but I think it's more than just a discussion. Oh, okay. It's a spray the bat. They look like maybe they were actually taking him out, but no, he's just going back to the dugout to spray a little something on the bat. But you talk about efficiency. Through an inning and 2/3, Mahoney has thrown 13 pitches.
And for a freshman that struggled with walks last week, this is exactly what the doctor orders.
Seriously. So we will see if Marsh gets the red light here. Nope! Swings, bounces to second. Miller's been busy over there. 4-3 putout shows you how much we know. 1-2-3 once again. That is 6 up, 6 down for Bobby Mahoney. And the side retired. 1-0 Fullerton after 2. 1-0 Fullerton after 2 complete here at Sunken Diamond. And now for the play-by-play in innings 3 and 4 is my man Austin Oda.
Thank you. Fun first 2 innings. Pretty quick first couple innings. Both pitchers have been solid, especially for Parker Warner in the second inning. He'll face 9-1-2 Hunter Meyer, Ty Thomas, and Cameron Kim in this lineup for Fullerton, who leads 1-0 after an unearned run in the first inning. I got to get your thoughts on this, actually. If a pitcher makes an error, I think it should count as an earned run, right?
It is a long-standing debate and an interesting one. I see both sides.
Right, I do as well.
Because you're trying to measure, obviously, his true effectiveness as a pitcher of the baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And a fielding error is a different issue.
And I think especially...
But you did it to yourself, so you should be accountable. So I see both sides.
And I think especially... I don't know. I've got a lot of thoughts on that, but that's, again, like you said, long-standing debate. Here's Hunter Meyer, who will get his second looks at Parker Warner. He was at the plate during a caught stealing of Britton Beeson as the first pitch. Misses a little bit low for ball 1. Meyer, like you mentioned, 200 hitter this season, looking for his first home run. The true freshman in center field for these Titans. Warner's been pretty effective. He's got 2 strikeouts. He hasn't walked a batter yet, but he falls behind in the count, 2-0.
By the way, I wish the folks at home could see your scorecard versus my scorecard. Seismic difference in penmanship, in color coordination, in just about everything.
There's a big method. I gotta have things color coordinated, or else it just doesn't work for me. 3-0 now to Meyer.
Hopefully the information is consistent, but everything else.
Right, and that's all that really matters, right? As long as we're getting the same things on the page. But yeah, I've gone through a lot of trials and tribulations with what I'm gonna do in my scorebook, and I think I've finally found the niche of what's right. But to each their own, and I've seen a lot of different things.
Yep.
3-0 to Meyer. And Warner gets it right into the top of the strike zone with a get me over fastball, 3-1. I do like your big bright orange.
So this was, I hadn't called baseball. It's gonna date me. I hadn't called a baseball game before Friday since 1994.
Wow. 3-1 fouled off. How does that even work?
Well, so I did Stanford football and basketball for a decade, and I have done a great deal of those 2 sports. And for both of those sports, I find, well, for football, the big board works because you got offense, defense on the 2 sides. Basketball, I do it a little bit differently, but I basically just translated my football board to baseball.
3-2, a chopper to third, charging Moran off his back foot. His throw to first is in time.
To be honest, this may be overkill, and
I love it.
When I come back next time, I may have a more compact, different system, but, I trotted it out on Friday and it seemed to work, so here we are.
No, I think it's great. I think, you've got where people are on the field, which I think a lot of times broadcasters don't have, which irks me a little bit.
Yep.
You gotta see the field a little bit. But yeah, yours is a little more football style,
and it's bright and colorful.
Exactly,
much like your paper there.
Yeah, right. Top of the lineup, Ty Thomas. One of 2 hits today for Fullerton. Led off the game with a first pitch single up the middle. First pitch here, he attacks it again and fouls it off to the right, 0-1. So both of these lineups early on have been very jumpy. Early in the count on these two young pitchers, Warner the sophomore, on the other side Mahoney the freshman, and it's been a pitcher's duel.
Well, both pitchers throwing strikes for the most part.
There's a pitch that I thought was going to be a strike, but called a little bit down, a little away maybe.
Yeah. You know who else did? Parker Warner.
Yeah. You think maybe even Ty Thomas, who's at the plate. But again, as we've kind of harped on this entire game, this Fullerton team is a team comfortable hitting behind in the count. 1-1. Thomas swings and misses. There's that changeup.
Yeah, it's a good pitch.
And I think it says something when you can throw it righty on righty and be comfortable in a 1-1 count even.
Well, if you don't throw it righty on righty, you're never going to throw it today because
Right.
you got 9 right-handers in this Titan lineup.
So Warner's ahead 1-2. He's gone to the slider here a lot. Here he goes to the fastball and misses up past the target of Lavin. Lavin was sitting inside with that fastball, which is what we saw Paul Contreras swing through for Warner's first strike.
And Warner was upset with himself. He overthrew that on 1 and 2.
So now the count even. See what he goes to on 2-2. Already sitting with a couple strikeouts in this one. Pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Went to the back foot with the changeup. And you talk about right on right. That changeup is more than all right.
So, given that Meyer was at the plate at the end of the previous inning with the caught stealing, and he saw probably 5 pitches in bat at bat, he's seen a lot for technically 1 at bat against Parker Warner. Didn't do him any good. He still wound up striking out.
That'll bring up Cameron Kim, who was hit by a pitch his first time up.
My bad. That was Thomas. Ignore that last 15
But
seconds.
the point still stands, and he's 0 for 1 as Kim swings and misses at a first pitch heater, 0-1. Kim had that weird first at bat. We're on 0-2 on back-to-back fouled off bunts. He then worked the count full and then was hit by a pitch on a check swing. Then he moved up to second on a fielder's choice as he takes in the dirt for ball 1. Then moved to third on the error by Warner on his pickoff to second. Then came home on a wild pitch. So he is the amalgamation of everything that has kind of gone wrong for Stanford this series.
And it's been first innings times 2.
Here he takes a changeup off the outside edge, 2-1. Still a close one early on, but Stanford's bats have had no answer to Bobby Mahoney on the other end. And really, you kind of say the same thing about Fullerton. Behind in the count is Warner on 2-1. And Kim lofts this in the air to shallow center. Starting back was hot, but he comes in a couple steps and makes the catch in a 3-up, 3-down inning. Back-to-back for Parker Warner. Bottom 3 coming up. 1-0, Fullerton leads. Back here for the bottom of the 3rd inning, Klein fielded Sunken Diamond. 1-0, Fullerton leads this one. We were just talking about how, Scott, you haven't called a game since 1994.
A baseball game.
A baseball game. Right, you've called a lot of games since then.
I called Friday's game, but
right.
Yes,
that
correct.
Is pretty unbelievable. Run me through some of the names on those rosters.
It's a long drought.
Yeah.
Oh, boy, 1994, well, so A.J. Hinch was on that team. Jason Middlebrook, who threw a no-hitter here at Stanford. Dusty Allen was the big slugging first baseman. You know what? There were a lot of good players here during my college years. Obviously, I just missed the back-to-back national championships in 87, 88. I was a freshman in 89, but I caught the tail end of Jeffrey Hammond's career. I had Mike Musina. His last year here was my freshman year.
It's a good little roster for you.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, you talk about Stanford players in the majors, and this is another, bigger discussion for a bigger day.
Luke Lavin watched the first pitch ball and takes a 1-0 strike.
But Stanford has had so many big leaguers over the last 4 decades. But the list of all-stars, elite major league players that have come out of Stanford is relatively short when you consider the star power in college over that time span and all the College World Series and the national championships and everything else. It's a pretty short list of the upper echelon stars in the major leagues.
It's very interesting. Yeah, you look over the last
a lot of good players,
right?
But very few great major league players. Obviously, Musina, the headliner now, is a Hall of Famer.
A ball and 2 strikes to Luke Lavin coming into today, hitting .235, one of Stanford's 3 home runs this season. Yeah, it is interesting. I hope my parents are listening right now, because that era was, they really like to pretend that they both went to Stanford. They did not, but they came to a bunch of games in that era. So I hope they're listening and going down memory lane with us. But you're right. You look at, I think there are a lot of guys that you expected when they were at Stanford to have these long, lengthy 15-year, 5 All-Star Major League careers. Lavin takes up and away, and this is the longest count that Mahoney's had today. But you're right, it's interesting. And right now you look, I thought from that 2018 team there were going to be 5 All-Stars on that team at least, and it's Nico Horner right now. That's about it. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Luke Lavin, the catcher. And he takes a little bit tight in the first walk for the freshman Mahoney, the first base runner for the Cardinal.
Chris Bubich had a nice year before the injury last year.
Right. Very good year. Thought he was on his way to getting some Cy Young votes. He's a guy that I think could be an all-star at least once or twice in his career. Tristan Beck, Eric Miller, that entire weekend rotation is all in the majors.
And in fact, I was at spring training earlier this week and got to catch up with both of those guys.
Incredible.
And talk a little Stanford baseball, so that was fun.
Here's Ethan Hott, one of the only seniors in this lineup. He plays a little Fullerton ball and squares to bunt on the first pitch and fouls it back to the screen. Well, if we're really going back, I was here the night that Fullerton and Stanford played in the regional in 2018.
Nice.
It was not nice for Stanford that night. Jace Chamberlain, walk-off home run. That name, my parents, who do not always remember names from other teams, will always remember that name. Pinch hit walk-off home run against Will Matheson. But that was a special couple of years for the Cardinal. His Hot scores to bunt again. This one he gets down as it almost hits him. Out behind the plate, Lombardi fires to the covering Miller, and that's a successful job from Ethan Hott.
Well, you talk about deadening the baseball. Yeah. He almost used his thumb to deaden the baseball, but ball in play, sacrifice, and Stanford has a runner in scoring position for the first time.
And I think when we're talking about Stanford kind of returning to that College World Series level that they were just a couple years back, you see the foundation here. J.J. Moran's been fantastic, Charlie Bates, Rentaro Sasaki, Tatum Marsh. There's so many good bats in this lineup. And the Arms have so much talent. It's all about now getting them to that next level. Brock Sell, another guy that you can say the same thing about. One of the top recruits in the class this year.
Yep. Stanford with a highly touted recruiting class this year and an equally highly touted class coming in 2026.
A 1 pitch. Nice change up there from Mahoney. Swung on and missed 0-2. Sell coming in, hitting a 158. 6 RBI. Obviously a very small sample for all these guys, but this series Sell 0 for 6. Behind in the count 0-2 now with Lavin on second. From the belt, Mahoney working from the stretch for the first time today, and he misses off the outside, 1-2. Fullerton scored first in the top of the first. All zeros since. Stanford still looking for its first hit of the day. Sell behind in the count, 1-2. Looking for his first hit of the series. And he goes the other way. Kind of just nubs it off the end of the bat into the Fullerton dugout. And we'll do it again. Just a picture-perfect day here from Sunken Diamond.
Yeah, this is a Chamber of Commerce day here in Bay Area.
1-2. This is off the outside with the fastball, 2-2. And the breeze is starting to pick up just a little bit, making it a little more comfortable for us. I am not used to this this nice warm weather, but if you were at spring training, I'm sure it wasn't bad over in Arizona.
So it actually was unseasonably cool this week, the 3 days that I was there.
Lucky you.
Which was a bit unfortunate, but can't complain too much. You're hanging out doing spring training stuff.
Pickoff play was on there. O'Hara timed it pretty perfectly. The throw was just a little bit offline. And we'll do 2-2 again to Brock Sell. A walk from Lavin, a 6-pitch walk, then a bunt from Ethan Hott. Set the table for the 9-1 spots. Sell waiting on the 2-2, and he takes called strike 3 on a front door changeup. First strikeout of the day for Bobby Mahoney.
And a big one as the second out of the inning, and Brock Sell just frozen by that pitch. So the freshman who we heard so many good things about coming out of high school, all kinds of talent potential, still waiting to see the breakout here at this level. Obviously, it's still early.
Sal now 0 for 7 with 4 strikeouts this series. That'll bring up the top of the order, Charlie Bates. Bates looking to even up this score or give the Cardinal the lead. First pitch, in the air, left center field, shallow. Britton Beeson looks like he's got it, he does. And that again ends the inning. No runs, no hits, no Fullerton errors, and the Cardinal strand Lavin on second. We go to the fourth, 1-0, Fullerton leads. Top of the fourth inning, Stanford trails 1-0 after a single run in the top of the first inning from Fullerton. It's the heart of their order due up, Nick Miller, Paul Contreras, and Max Ortega to hit for Fullerton here in the fourth inning. Still against Parker Warner, who's given the Cardinal a little bit of length early on. Bobby Mahoney on the other end has done exactly the same. Miller 0 for 1 after his bunt was fielded, and Warner threw out the lead runner on the play as he grounds this one softly to short on 2 hops for the shortstop Charlie Bates, whose throw to first is perfect for the first out of the inning. So all of a sudden, Parker Warner, who labored a little bit through the first inning, has retired the last 6.
51 pitches through 2 1/3. But to your point, since the first inning, very, very efficient, very effective.
That'll bring up Paul Contreras, the Modesto JC transfer, who hit 6 home runs last season. Still looking for his first this year. As the first pitch to him, catches the inside corner. And it does feel like Warner has gotten a little more composed as the game has gone on. Contreras, the first strikeout of the day for Warner. As here he falls behind 0-2, says the home plate umpire, Jason Benzon. Warner ahead in the count 0-2, just as he was the first time up. This time Contreras has actually seen 2 pitches, not a pitch clock 0-1. Is on 0-2 here. Yep. The check swing and no go.
Thought they were going to ring him up.
I did too. That looked a little more like a swing than his first one did. Still a ball and 2 strikes. So Warner sitting on 3 strikeouts through his 3 1/3 innings. Still ahead in the count. A ball and 2 strikes. From the high windup, the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Went to that slider and picks up his 4th strikeout.
Certainly went around that time. So Contreras' struggles continue. Now 2 for 13 in the series.
And with 5 strikeouts. Not what you want.
From your cleanup guy?
Right. Big time power from him, but the bat to ball has been lagging this series. I actually saw Paul play a couple summers ago out in the California Collegiate League. He's playing with the Sonoma Stompers in their beautiful stadium up north in Sonoma. And he was a really, really good player for them that summer. He was getting a little bit of draft buzz. He's just a really good athletic guy that can play center field, hit with power, all the intangibles that you look for. And you saw a little bit of it last year. He hit over 250, he homered 6 times. Just hasn't really come together this year. This is a long meeting from Max Ortega and the Fullerton head coach. I think similar to what we saw with Coach Esker and Quinton Marsh back in the second inning.
Make him throw a few pitches.
A little bit of gamesmanship, maybe.
We saw that. Marsh went out and swung at the first pitch, so,
Maybe, if anything, just a little bit of a stall, get you out of a rhythm. Warner, who's in a rhythm, has set down the last 7. Ortega, 0 for 1, lined out softly to Jimmy Nadai his first time up. First pitch, he takes strike 1. 1-0 Fullerton, top of the 4th inning, in a beautiful, beautiful Sunday baseball game. Closing out this 4-game series between the Cardinal and the Titans as Warner just had that one slip out of his hand, 1-1.
Well, first to 4 wins in this series. Scores of 4-2, 4-3, and 4-3 in the first 3 games. And another pitcher's duel here so far today.
1-1 pitch. Laced down the left field line, but that hooks well foul over towards the hitting cages. 1-2. No action right now in either bullpen. It looked like Fullerton had an arm just getting loose over there. But Warner's really settled in and is ahead again, 1-2. The pitch, front door slider, drops in. Strike 3 called. Back-to-back punch-outs for Parker Warner, and he's up to 5 in his 4 innings of 1-run ball. Cardinal bats looking to do some damage on the other side. Bottom of the 4th inning, 1-0 Fullerton leads in this one. Well, so you were talking about how your last time in the press box up here was 1994. My last time in the press box here was doing the junior announcer when I was about 8 years old.
Nice.
So it's the junior announcer.
So you were that
right
kid.
Now. I was that kid one time.
That's great.
Bottom of the 4th inning.
Wonder how many of those kids have now sat where you're sitting.
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a stat that I think someone's gonna have to pull somewhere. We'll contract our stat guys for that. 2-3-4, Nadi, Moran, Reynolds to hit in the bottom of the 4th inning.
As if we have stat guys.
Right, exactly. Us, we're the stat guys. We do all the prep. Nadi 0 for 1 today with a ground out to second. He squares to bunt and pulls back, ball 1.
Anything for base runners.
Right.
Stanford has had 1 courtesy of a walk.
And even that one was a questionable 3-2 call on a pitch on the inside that Lavin took. A ball and no strikes to Nadi as he takes a front door slider. Mahoney, it feels like is almost matching Warner pitch for pitch. The changeup has been good, the slider has been good, and the fastball does its thing when it needs to.
Yeah, the difference is he's done it in about half as many pitches. I mean, 30.
Pitch number 31 is going to be out number 10, it looks like, as Max Ortega fields it in foul ground for the first out in the 4th.
I mean, 31 pitches in the 4th.
Yeah, say what you want about a freshman facing the order a second or third time through. He's carving right now, It's not like there's much hard contact from the Cardinal that's just finding a glove. This is, I would say, dominance right now from Mahoney.
It absolutely has been, and offense is contagious, and lack of offense can be contagious as well, and that's unfortunately what we have seen this weekend from the Cardinal. Just not a lot of hard hit balls in general.
J.J. Moran has had a couple hard hit balls this series. He's 3 for 11 with a home run as he grounds this one to the left side. A high chopper foul, 0-1. Yeah, you can see it kind of snowball at bat to a bat where you start lunging out in front a little bit, just trying to attack.
They're trying to do too much. Right. It's team-wide frustration.
And the Cardinals still hitless in this one. Mahoney has been exceptional with a strikeout and a walk over his 3 scoreless innings. 3 1/3 now after Nadi's pop-up as Moran takes the slider outside 1-1.
And as good as this Fullerton bullpen has been in this series, you would rather get to them sooner than later.
A ball and a strike to Moran as he takes a fastball down and in, 2-1. And I think the deeper you get into this ball game and the second time through the lineup, for Stanford the first time through, the intent was obvious. You're going to attack early on and try to take advantage of a guy trying to get the ball over the heart of the plate as Moran takes a slider a little away, 3-1. But I think that might change now, and the Cardinal will be a little bit more passive, try to work deeper counts.
Patient.
It's a good hitter's count for Moran. See if he has the green light or if the Cardinal just try to get someone on base. On 3-1 to Moran. Does have the green light, but it's a 3-hop chop to short. Kate O'Hara throws to first, 2 down. And so it goes for the Cardinal.
And so it goes. Next man up, Brady Reynolds.
Reynolds 0 for 1, a ground out to second. Nick Miller has been very active in this one today over at second base for the Titans. He's 3 for 3 on his tries over at second. 2 down, 1-0 Fullerton leads, bottom 4. Still no hits for Stanford in this one. Reynolds takes in the dirt, ball 1.
And with every scoreless inning that transpires from a Stanford perspective, the defensive miscues of the first inning become more magnified.
Absolutely.
You know, you're not feeling, if it's 0-0 right now, you're thinking, okay, as it should be, but it's not.
Reynolds over the back foot with a slider, 2-0.
Little bit of action down in the Stanford pen. They're stirring.
It's like, yeah, just some stirring going on right now. No one really starting to throw yet. Should be a relatively fresh Stanford bullpen, and I say relatively compared to the fact that they played 3 games in 2 days is... Now Reynolds is ahead 3-0, and you got to think the light is beat red here on 3-0.
As red as the jersey.
3 balls, no strikes to the Cardinal designated hitter today.
Oh, I don't know. Cleanup man, looking dead red. Yep.
Nope. Strike 1. Probably not his pitch to hit either way, down and away on a fastball. He's got that sinking action that's had a lot of ground balls today. 6 of the outs so far for Stanford have been the ground ball variety. 3-1 pitch. Reynolds takes ball 4 in tight. The second walk for Mahoney.
And the second base runner for the Cardinal.
Stanford did it with a leadoff walk in the 3rd. Now a 2-out walk in the 4th sets things up for Rintaro Sasaki. As difficult as it is to do against a sinker baller, you kind of know what Sasaki's up here to do right now. Even early in this game, it feels like any big swing is welcome for these two teams on a day where the ball's going to fly.
Every time he comes to the plate, I look out over the fence at the walkway near the football fields by the pool and have some concern for passersby.
First pitch misses down and away, ball 1, sitting on 8 home runs in his season plus on the farm. As Nico Lombardi goes to talk out to his young righty Mahoney. Sasaki 0 for 1 today, hit maybe the hardest hit ball of the day for the Cardinal, right back up the box that Mahoney fielded and threw Sasaki out at first.
Going to be an interesting week for Sasaki.
Yeah, it'll be cool to see Sasaki and the rest of the Cardinal play Waseda University. That on Wednesday. It'll be myself and Kyle Morrison on the call for that one.
And you tell me you're going to bust out some Japanese?
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. 1-0 pitch. Sasaki takes up and away. 2-0. I might get cold feet. The Japanese is all right. We went this last summer, and it was okay. It got us through, depending on who you ask. I would say it got us through. My parents and the rest of my family might disagree. But, yeah, we'll see. 2 balls and no strikes with Reynolds on first. The pitch. Sasaki.
He wasn't taking.
He was trying to send that one to the walkway. 2-1. Well, if he had the green light on 2-0, you got to think he's got it on 2-1 now.
Oh, he does.
Reynolds on first. A big overshift over towards the right side for the Fullerton defense. Sasaki goes the other way. Lifts it in the air down the left field line. Beeson on the warning track. He makes the catch for the 3rd and final out of the inning. So Sasaki's got the 2 hardest hit balls of the day, but Stanford still hitless through 4 innings. Top 5 when we come back. A quick moving game in this one. 1-0 Fullerton leads in a pitcher's duel through 4 innings. Parker Warner's been great. I'm Austin Oda along with Scott Reese. This one's all you.
5th inning here at Sunken Diamond. A fast-moving ball game through 4. That will happen when you have just 1 unearned run through 4 innings and no hits for the Cardinal. Stanford did make a defensive change heading into this 5th inning. Teddy Tokheim is now in left field. Brock Sell shifts from left to center, and that will be the end of the day for Ethan Hott. Unsure why the move was made at this point in the game, but any information we get, we will certainly pass along. It'll be Britton Beeson leading off for Cal State Fullerton, and he looks at a strike to start the 5th. Beeson singled and was caught stealing to end the 2nd inning. Hit the home run on Friday against Nick Dugan. One of only 2 home runs on the season for this Cal State Fullerton club. Parker Warner quickly ahead 0-2. He's retired 8 in a row. And that is a swing that hit him, and the batter is out. So the ball hit his left hand on the swing, but the ump very emphatic that he did in fact swing at the baseball, so that's a strikeout for Warner.
And very clearly a swing, I think, and that speaks to the depth of that changeup, where not only does it drop, but it has that arm side movement. It comes out of the same slot as the 2-seam fastball, and drops even more, comes even more towards a right-handed batter. That is devastating.
So here is Nico Lombardi, the Fremont native. Slider for a strike, so again, getting ahead of hitters, pounding the strike zone, using the off-speed stuff brilliantly. Lombardi a strikeout victim his first time up. This time he lines one over the head of Charlie Bates and into left field for the third hit of the day for Cal State Fullerton.
And that one was pieced up. That maybe the first real hard contact that Fullerton's had today, and breaks the little stretch of 9 straight retired. That a good piece of hitting from Lombardi, who in this very small sample just continues to hit. It's what he's done over 2 years at Fullerton, and continues there.
That'll bring up the 8-hitter Cade O'Hara, the junior shortstop. Flied to right field his first time up. Double play depth for the Cardinal. 1 out here in the 5th, and a nice stop by Luke Lavin on an errant pitch from Parker Warner.
So Warner set his career high in a small sample again, but set his career high in strikeouts last week with 5. Started up that with 6 this week. And again, another guy that is just a big-time recruit for this Cardinal team. Sky's the limit.
Pitches low ball 2. He is slotted in as their Sunday starter, and they decided to keep him as the Sunday guy with the doubleheader yesterday. But really, you can't say enough about what this Cardinal starting staff has done in these 4 games.
Yeah, Aiden Keenan yesterday, who I think has all the potential in the world to be a true headlining Friday night guy, was spectacular in that opening start. Took advantage of a team that really did not want to swing and miss and just hit the corners the entire game.
Runner goes, throw down to second, and not close. He is out easily as Luke Lavin. Why do they continue to run is the question. Opposing base runners are now 4 for 11 this season against the Cardinal.
Fullerton, not a team that really is great at stealing bases either. Just 3 of 5 coming into today. Then you add on 0 for 2. Luke Lavin is establishing himself as one of the premier out guys in the league behind the plate.
So the hit and run goes awry, and now Meadows 1 pitch away from getting out of the inning. And that will not be the 1 pitch, because O'Hara, a 1 pitch too late from a Titans standpoint, lines one into left.
You're completely right. If that pitch happens a pitch earlier, it's runners on the corners and 1 out, and you're thinking big inning. Instead, Hunter Meyer up, and he's seen the most, really, of Parker Warner today.
He was left at the plate on the first caught stealing of the game, so he's only had 1 at bat, but he's seen a lot of pitches. And a conversation now between Lavin and Warner.
I really do like the approach, though, of Fullerton this inning. Just being a little more simple with it, it feels like. Taking it where it's thrown, not trying to do too much. I think sometimes you get so over-caught up in we're going to play small ball, we're going to go the other way with everything, that you forget to pull. And I there's nothing wrong with going the other way, but sometimes you just got to throw or hit it where it's thrown. And Warner's attacks that inside corner to righty so much today with the changeup and the 2-seamer. Now it's working a little bit.
Meyer hitting 200 in the series, hitting 200 on the season, and takes outside ball 1.
There's a lefty warming up in Fullerton's bullpen. No action for the Cardinals, so this is Warner's inning for sure.
I mean, 31 pitches or whatever it's been.
Right.
Why? Popped up. On the infield, Charlie Bates says he has it. And he does, and the inning is over. So a couple of hits, 1 caught stealing, 1 man left on base. We go bottom 5, and the score remains 1-0 Titans. Back at Sunken Diamond with the score 1-0 Cal State Fullerton. Bobby Mahoney back on the mound for his 5th inning of work. The first 4 have been pretty brilliant. No hits, couple of walks, just the one strikeout. 47 pitches through 4. We talked before the game about both managers trying to get a little bit of length out of their back end of the rotation starters, and I would say mission accomplished on both sides.
Neither have looked like Sunday guys. When
No.
you hear Sunday guy, I think there's a little bit of a negative connotation with that sometimes. Neither has had any of that negative connotation. They've both been fantastic.
Tatum Marsh leading it off for Stanford. Fastball inside, ball 1.
Did feel like Stanford's at-bats got a little better last inning. The walk of Reynolds and then Sasaki just crushed the ball out to left.
Well, Sasaki's been the one guy who seems to be seeing it pretty well. Curveball in there for a strike, evens the count at 1-1. Marsh just 6 for 29 to start the season, and he's in a hole 1-2. At some point, these Stanford bats are going to come alive, and they're going to start putting up crooked numbers. The question is, when will that come, and will it be today? There's a two-hopper to second base, and an easy play for Nick Miller, 1 out.
Like the swing, just off the end of the bat that time for Marsh. Looked like it had a little more zip on it, maybe originally, but there's something in whatever Mahoney's throwing. I think it's that sinker that's got a little bit of late action right as it crosses the plate, and it's hurting these Stanford hitters. And really, as a guy who I just love pitching, it's fun to watch. He's taking advantage of the Stanford attack plan.
That'll bring up Luke Lavin. Walked his first time up. And looks at a strike here at the knees.
Lavin was the first base runner for the Cardinal. They haven't had much success since then. That was really the only batter that Mahoney's fallen behind in the count in.
Lavin has one of the 3 Stanford home runs on the season. Hitting .235. Looks at one off the plate, so it's 2-1.
Such a good developmental story for the Cardinal, going behind a couple really, really good catchers in his last couple seasons, and now he's taken the spot and been fantastic.
Got to watch Charlie Somm do his thing. He has obviously taken strides defensively.
Right.
The 2-2 to the Cardinal catcher. Fouled away. Good hands, Eske.
Yeah, he's made a couple of those plays in his life.
Can still pick it. And a foul the other way. So Lavin battling.
Maybe there's something about these Titans that Lavin doesn't like. 7 of 12 with a double against Fullerton this 2 years, or 2 years that he's faced them.
Well, he likes the pitchers.
Right. Had that walk-off yesterday.
2-2 pitch. Got him swinging. A lot of movement on that slider.
And we've seen the slider a lot from Mahoney go to the back door to lefties, the front door to righties. That was a back foot slider, and that's so much confidence when you're, even in the count 2-2, you're taught, all right, throw your best pitch. And that was that. Diving over towards the back foot, just a nasty pitch.
Well, Teddy Tokheim, who was inserted into the game in the top of the 5th inning. His second collegiate at-bat will be a 6-3 groundout. Inning over. Pitch count still at just 59 through 5 for Bobby Mahoney. 6th inning coming up from Sunken, 1-0 Fullerton. Top of the 6th inning at Sunken Diamond, Fullerton 1, Stanford 0. A combined 1 run and 4 hits for both teams, and Fullerton has all of that.
Parker Warner has been fantastic, and if this game continues the rest of the way it's been so far, he's going to have nothing to show for it except the big fat L. And so the Cardinal bats have got to get going. The defense has been good. Really not a ton of tests for the defense in this one. One big play out in right field by Tatum Marsh. Outside of that, it's been all Parker Warner.
We are an hour and 21 minutes into this ball game, and we're in the 6th inning. Ty Thomas, the DH, the leadoff man, at the plate to begin the 6th, and he swings through a breaking ball for strike 1.
It'll be interesting to see now both these pitchers third time through the lineup. There are lots of debates on whether the stats on that are real or not, but I think it's definitely something at the very least to pay attention to at this point in the game.
Fastball low evens the count at 1-1. Again, a couple of Stanford pitchers scurrying and stretching, but nobody actually throwing behind Parker Warner. There's a ground ball to short, gobbled up by Bates, across to Sasaki for the first out.
Looks like the lefty Andrew Shaw is doing the closest thing to throwing a baseball out in the bullpen.
Lobbing it against the wall.
Right. Ben Reimers is swinging a plyo stick, so...
Reimers pitched in the game on Friday night. Here's Cameron Kim. Hit by a pitch after failing to get a bunt down in the first inning. Came around to score the only run for Cal State Fullerton on a wild pitch.
We've talked a lot about the efficiency of Bobby Mahoney on the other end. Parker Warner, that was just pitch number 76.
And that's after a lot in the first inning because of the error and the walk.
Credit Luke Lavin for a lot of that as well, throwing a runner out at second. Couple runners out at second, but a 2-hit inning in the 5th. Neither of them hard hit, but Lavin was still able to gun down a runner.
Inside ball 2. Obviously, this game is far from decided. Stanford really wants to come away with a win today and a split in the series, but regardless, to this point, this is very much a litmus test for are you glass half full or glass half empty when evaluating the Cardinal, as the 2-1 pitch is on the corner for strike 2.
I think it would be easy to look at Cal State Fullerton and think, all right, that it's a non-Power 4 team, it's a Big West team, and all of that is obviously true. It's also a team that returns a lot of its players from last season against a Stanford team that's still very young.
And there's a base hit into left field.
But to that point, Stanford's kind of still learning to play with each other. And Fullerton is a very experienced team that's played with each other a bunch. Lost Maddox Lotta last year, who was the team's best player, but Kirchner returns. He was fantastic. The Friday starter Negrete returns. He's another really good Friday night guy. There's a lot of players in piece already for this Fullerton team. And so I think you look at this, no matter what, glass half full. There's still a lot of growing time, and all 4 of those games last weekend for the Cardinal were quality games.
Nick Miller is the batter and takes outside. Well, again, the narrative for this Stanford team coming into the season, and last weekend certainly did nothing to dispel that narrative, was they're going to hit enough. Will the pitching be sufficient to get them back into the upper half of the ACC? And there's a line shot into right center field. Kim going to round second and go to third. The throw on the way is offline. So runners at the corners, 1 out. And the Titans threatening for the first time since the first inning.
2 hard hit balls as well. 1 to left center, 1 to right center. I thought Marsh was going to have no shot at third base with Kim rounding second, but it looked like it, maybe a slightly better throw would have got him. Still just impressive to get it there. And I don't think this is going to be the day for Parker Warner.
Well, no, because there's still nobody actually throwing. So I'm going to guess
it would be dangerous for this to be the day for Parker Warner. But Stanford is going to get a couple arms up, it looks like.
That would be coaching malpractice. That's not going to happen. But anyway, to continue my point, this series has obviously been the polar opposite from the 4 games last weekend, where the offense has been relatively dormant. The pitching has been really good, especially the starters have been really good this weekend. So if you are of the glass half full mentality, you think, well, offense had a tough weekend. That'll happen, but these guys are going to hit. If they get this kind of pitching on a consistent basis, it really does raise the ceiling for this Stanford team this season.
Absolutely does. There's still trying to kind of put together the arms. You lose arguably your top 2 starters from last season in Joey Volchko and Matt Scott, and there's gonna be naturally question marks. But I think the ceiling for this pitching staff is equally as high, if not higher, than last year's, just by virtue of having so many different options. We've already seen a couple freshmen that have come in and done a really nice job, and Warner, the sophomore, one of them. It's Trevor Moore warming up in the Cardinal bullpen right now. He's another veteran.
That said, it's still Parker Warner's game. He's got some trouble to try and wriggle out of here with runners at the corners, 1 out, and Paul Contreras, the cleanup hitter, at the plate. And a throw to first. Be interesting to see what Fullerton does here. Do they try to steal a run, as they were able to do yesterday with the bases loaded and the suicide squeeze that scored twice? However, trying to steal second has not proved fruitful in this ballgame. Runner bluffs, and the ball gets away from Lavin, and the run will score, and that looked to me like a pass ball.
Yeah, that was a difficult one for Lavin. It looked like I couldn't tell. It almost looked like a slider that was kind of just spiked from Warner. You're right, especially with a runner on third, you've got to be anticipating that one.
Yeah, from our vantage point here behind the plate, sometimes tough to tell exactly where the pitch was. We don't have a monitor, but it looked to me like that was a catchable ball.
I saw in the dirt, but definitely
right.
difficult.
Well, you've also got your 3 feet to my right. You've got a little better angle on that part of the plate, so I will take your word for it. In any case, it's 2-0 Cal State Fullerton, and still trouble now with a runner at second. There's a nubber in front of the plate. It's a foul ball.
That's especially difficult because this is a guy in Paul Contreras that has swung and missed a lot this game, and so with runners on the corners, you're thinking get him to chase. They are going to credit it as a wild pitch, by the way.
Okay.
But you're thinking get Contreras to chase on that slider down and away. He didn't. It was just a little too far off, and so it goes. More of those mistakes, though.
Well, he has struck out twice today, so to your point, a lot of swing and miss. And for the second time today, Stanford has handed a run to the Titans. Albeit this will be an earned run. Slider away, 2-1. And it is entirely possible, should Contreras reach, that this is close to the end for Parker Warner. Curveball in there for strike 2. "82 pitches for the Stanford right-hander. Whirls and throws back to second. Nice play by Nadi, keeping that ball from sailing into center field. "2-2 is foul tipped. Well, with the dearth of offense we've seen from the Cardinal, not just today, but throughout this series, and that Titan bullpen looming, it is really important that Stanford not allow this third run to score.
You said first to 4 wins. It feels like maybe first to 3 in this one with how it's been going.
Pokes one the opposite way. Nice play at second by Nadi. Records the out. Runner moves to third with 2 down.
Gigantic out number 2. Yeah, it moves the runner to third. So what?
Well, except we've had 2 wild pitches in this game,
that's how the 2 runs have scored, so maybe not. But not the biggest deal, I should say. Now your focus is on the batter. Ortega, who's 0 for 2. And Warner gets to work from the windup if he wants to, which is where he's been more comfortable today.
Ortega, a line out, a strikeout, and ball 1.
And if you're Lavin, you got to be ready for that ball in the dirt. Those have cooked the Cardinal twice today.
Outside. Look, here's a guy in Ortega, and I understand he's a senior. He's been around. But he is 2 for 22. So, yes, you have bases open. But this is a guy who is struggling with the bat. See if they go right at him, 2-0. Just off the plate.
And Britton Beeson on deck has the only home run this series for Fullerton. He's got a hit today. He's swinging it a little bit better. Not even with an open base. I wouldn't really want to face Beeson.
Nope, strike one. Two nothing Fullerton, 2 out. The 3-1 is high ball 4. That'll put runners at the corners once again for the aforementioned Britton Beeson. And we'll keep an eye on the Stanford dugout.
No matter what happens the rest of this game, the fact that that is Parker Warner's first walk is fantastic.
Yep.
At this point, especially in non-conference plays, it looks like it's going to be his day. You're trying to build the confidence for later in the season to get deeper into games, and I think he aced this test today.
So Parker Werner's day is finished, but it was a terrific effort. 5 2/3 innings, 2 runs, 1 earned. He is, of course, responsible for the 2 runners on base. Gave up 6 hits, walked a man, hit a man. And if you had asked David Esker, would you take that line today from Parker Warner, he would have said, absolutely. Problem is the offense hasn't held up its end of the bargain. Stanford still without a hit. But it will be Trevor Moore, the veteran, coming in to try and put out the fire here in the 6th inning. Member of the Pac-12 Academic Honor Roll in the final season of the Pac-12 back in 2024. 16 appearances last year, 1 start. He was 1-3 with a 6.31 ERA. Better than a strikeout an inning.
And it feels like he's been here forever.
Yeah.
Talk about veterans. This is one of them.
This year, 3 appearances, unscathed, 3 2/3. Has not given up a run. He has given up 3 hits and 3 walks in those 3 2/3. 4 strikeouts. From Mullen High School in Denver. And son of former Stanford player Tim Moore, who was a White Sox draft pick, by the way.
Was he on the team when you were calling games?
He was, yes, not the 94. He was a bit earlier.
Okay.
92, I believe, was his final year.
Yep.
But yes, he was absolutely.
Runs in the family. A lot of good Cardinal lineage players. And this is a big spot.
It is a very big spot.
I mean,
especially when you have no hits.
This game isn't over, but
Got to keep it 2-0.
yeah.
Now the batter will be Britton Beeson, who has singled and struck out. And as Austin mentioned, has the only Fullerton home run in the series. That came off of Nick Dugan in the opener on Friday night. Right-hand batter against the right-handed Moore. First and third, 2 out. And the first pitch, Trevor. Fastball inside, ball 1. Couple of seniors doing battle. That is lifted foul down the left field line, evens up the count at 1-1.
Good sound on it.
Yes.
Way out in front, but Beeson, again, he's got that home run this series. It feels like the message is kind of clear. You know, he's up there with a 2-run lead and a new pitcher. You want to be jumpy.
Pitch is on the outside corner for strike 2. Outfield pretty much straight away. And the runner goes. They're going to try and steal a run here. The throw home is on time, on target, and out at the plate. So Fullerton tries to steal a run. They hang the first base runner out to dry, hoping to get a throw home. They do, and in a bang-bang play at the plate, the throw is perfect. The out is recorded, and Trevor Moore says, "Thank you very much. I will take it. The side is retired." Stanford limits the damage. It is 2-0 heading bottom 6 here at Sunken Diamond. So officially, that is the third caught stealing of the afternoon, registered by the Stanford defense. As Jimmy Nadai took the throw from Trevor Moore, fired home. Luke Lavin applied the tag. Kim out at the plate. And we move on to the bottom of the 6th. And obviously a massive turn of events for Stanford, keeping this a 2-run game.
Gigantic, and we were talking about it, but it looked like Trevor Moore kind of lobbed the throw to second, thinking they were going to get that easy out. And Fullerton actually, to its credit, played it pretty well.
Yep.
The runner stopped trying to go to second, and then the throw to the plate was close. It needed to be perfect, and that's a veteran play from Jimmy Nadai. Stanford will send a pinch hitter to the plate as well, just trying to get a little something going. Court McDonald.
So he will bat for Broxell. McDonald, 1 for 6 on the season. And one hit was a double. Left-hand batter. And first pitch swinging up the middle. This could be a tough play for Miller. Gloves, throws. Got him. Smooth play by Nick Miller, who's been very busy at second base this afternoon.
And it's still Bobby Mahoney on the bump. Why wouldn't it be?
Yeah.
But that 60th pitch of the day for Mahoney, again, still nothing on the hit column for the Cardinal now. 2 full times through the lineup.
And still nobody throwing in the Fullerton pen.
Had action up and down. Nothing really going, though.
And a strike as Bates squared to bunt, pulled it back, didn't like the pitch.
It was clear against Parker Warner that the approach has changed the 3rd time through for Fullerton. We'll see if Stanford matches.
Slider down and in, ball 1. We're still at just 61 pitches for Bobby Mahoney. Freshman in his 2nd career start has been outstanding. Missed the corner there.
Looks like Jimmy Nadai his day might be done as well.
Yeah, it does appear so.
Phil Chong is on deck.
That is ball 3, so 3-1 now as Stanford just trying to do whatever it can to get guys on base. The 3-1 to Bates is pulled into right field, and the first hit of the afternoon for the Cardinal.
3rd time through, never lies. That one jumped ahead in the count, and I honestly love the aggression. Sometimes you think in a 2-0 game without a hit, you're just going to be taken on 3-1, but Bates saw a pitch he liked. Bang.
So it will, in fact, be Philip Chong, Canadian freshman from the Ontario area. And the first pitch is on the corner for a strike.
Well, and you hope Jimmy Nadai is all right, because interesting that he came out as well as Ethan Hott, the only 2 seniors in the Cardinal lineup today. Not sure. I didn't see anything at second base on the last play
Nor
when
did I.
Nat threw to the plate, but maybe something with his arm.
Yeah. Oh. And Chong is hit by the pitch. Or are they saying it hit the bat? I think that hit the arm protector.
That was not a bat sound.
That was not a bat sound.
And you don't toss the bat away that emphatically if it hits bat.
Well, he's going back to the plate, and the umpires are going to confer, and hopefully they will get this right. Is that...
I mean, there's no bat sound there.
Again, we don't have the center field camera, but it sure looked from up here. The viewers at home obviously saw it better than we did, and that confirms our suspicion that it is in fact a hit by pitch. So a base hit, a hit by pitch, and Stanford has its first real threat of the afternoon.
And right on cue, Fullerton gets an arm.
Well, yeah.
Starting to throw a little something behind it. Is there anyone else you'd want at the plate right now than J.J. Moran?
No, I mean, this is the guy. This is absolutely the guy. Moran hitting .385 coming into the game. 0 for 2 today. He hit the home run on Friday. He's your number 3 hitter for a reason.
Whatever action was in Fullerton's bullpen has started to slow down a little bit, which either means ready or...
Yeah.
Oh, no, now he's back up and going a little bit.
So 2 on, 1 out. J.J. Moran looking to finally break the seal for Stanford and drive in the first run of the game for the Cardinal. And he pokes one to second. Miller's only play will be to first for the second out of the inning. Both runners advance. And an inside out at that ball.
Right off the end of the bat, just a weird spinner. And a good thing for Miller that he wasn't, or excuse me, for Moran that he wasn't doubled up.
And another pinch hitter for the Cardinal.
Interesting, and there's another one on deck as well.
As Rashad Hayes will bat for Brady Reynolds. And this is really interesting because you're going righty-righty instead of lefty-righty. Hayes, the freshman from Bishop O'Dowd. In fact, I happened to be at a Bishop O'Dowd scrimmage yesterday watching my son play against Bishop O'Dowd, Rashad Hayes' alma mater. And he gets hit. What a strange inning. 2 pinch hitters, both hit by pitches.
And I wonder if this is trying to send a little bit of a message. Like, the bats hadn't been going. They haven't been going this whole series, and you're putting in a string of unproven freshmen to come and just try to bring some spark. And now Rentaro Sasaki's going to get hit for as well. Eric Gian is going to come.
Yeah, this is really interesting.
Credit to David Esker, because I think that's what this is. When you know, if it's one, all right, you're thinking
right,
maybe.
No,
but now
this is not coincidence.
Right, now it's
Nati, it's Reynolds, and it's Sasaki.
And those are veterans.
Well, they're veterans. They're your 2, 4, and 5 hitters. And, oh, by the way, Sasaki's the one guy who's actually hit the ball pretty hard today. So that's the one I find most curious. But we'll see.
So it does look like it'll be Eric John to pinch hit. Called him in a couple of games last season with Columbia up at Oregon. And he was a good player. He just didn't really get an opportunity last season, but as a freshman, one of the better players in the Ivy League. And it looks like this will be the day, though, for Mahoney.
Well, the wheel's clearly starting to come off when you give up a hit and then hit 2 batters. Stanford does have the bases loaded. There are 2 outs. And boy, this is going to be the result of this at-bat will determine the focal point of post-game questioning for David Esker. It would be Rentaro Sasaki hitting in this spot. But there is no question he's sending a message to his guys.
And just out of principle, I love it.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's what had to be done in a game like this, in a series like this, where every run matters.
So it'll be Jason Krakowski Jr. entering the game for Cal State Fullerton.
Jason Krakowski, high school teammate of one Parker Warner
Okay, then.
over at Granada High. And it's been not a great season. He started some games last year really as more of an opener.
Well,
But
he's only pitched a third of an inning, gave up a couple earned runs.
right. Last season, pitched as more of an opener. 2024 had a good season out of the bullpen. Good live arm, a little bit of funk, you can already tell. And talk about a big spot that Trevor Moore came in. This feels even bigger because in that top of the sixth, and say what you want about, feel and momentum, but it felt like this feels like it has more Stanford momentum than the top half did Fullerton momentum, just because of the weirdness of this inning where Stanford sent up 4 pinch hitters.
Well, somebody is going to have all of the momentum depending on the outcome
Right.
of this batter. If Stanford scores, clearly it's on their side. If Stanford doesn't score, they've just wasted the first legitimate opportunity of the game with bases loaded, and to come out with nothing obviously would shift everything back toward Fullerton. There's still 3 innings to go. This thing's a long way from over, but clearly a massive at-bat coming up in this game for a guy in Eric Gian who has had only 1 at-bat so far this season.
Yeah, it's an interesting move, but I can't emphasize enough how much I love it. Like, it feels like an acknowledgement of what's happened this series. And at some point you need to do that. And everyone on this Stanford roster is talented. You're playing Division I college baseball at Stanford University for a reason.
How many times do you
Prove
think Rintaro Sasaki has been pinch hit for in
Maybe
his
never.
career? Maybe 0? The all-time home run hitter in Japan high school sports? All right, here we go. Bases loaded, 2 out. And Gian looks at a pitch outside and low, ball 1. You taking a strike here?
I don't know. I think if you're Eric Gian, you've only had 1 at-bat this season. You've only had a couple over the last 2 years. And you know what? I think it's time to party.
And that is off the plate, ball 2. Would it surprise you to know that there's another pinch hitter on deck in Brock Kettleson?
No. I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of this thing, there's only 3 or 4 starters left in the game.
Well, we're almost there now.
It's like fall ball.
A 2-0 is on the outside corner, strike 1. I mean, Stanford would take ball 4 here happily.
Absolutely. Another hit by pitch as well.
Yeah, well.
Wild pitch, give Fullerton a little bit of its own medicine.
Exactly.
An error, that would be fitting.
The 2-1 to Gian is outside, ball 3. Well, you're sitting dead red here, I would think.
And I would still have the red light.
Really?
It's gotta be 1 pitch.
I think it's fastball down the middle,
Right.
otherwise you're putting the brakes on. And here is the 3-1, and that is a fastball, albeit on the outside corner, strike 2. Gian was a quarter of the way to first base. Okay, runners will be moving. 3-2, 2 outs. And the pitch to Gian. Foul. First time we felt energy in this place all day.
Sans that one little section of the Fullerton
Yeah,
faithful.
well, right, yes.
It's good energy. You talk about momentum, and now both teams are feeling it as well. Even on that one, the Fullerton dugout was in on it, and Stanford's dugout, give them credit because they're all in on this one as well.
The 3-2. High, ball 4. Stanford is on the board. Bates scores. It is 2-1.
Maybe the ugliest and weirdest rally that I've ever seen. It's not often you sub your 2, 4, and 5 hitters, and you know what, it worked.
Single, hit by pitch, walk. But you'll take it.
And you want to talk about a guy that is highly touted and waiting to break through. How about this guy?
Yeah. Two-way player. Started game 2 yesterday as the pitcher, Brock Kettleson. He swings through strike 1.
This would surprise you to note there's not a pinch hitter on deck.
No, well, catcher, little different animal.
And Luke Lavin has played with a lot of heart today.
Right. Breaking ball upstairs evens the count at 1-1. Kettleson looking for his first collegiate hit. This would be a pretty good time. Just missed. The 2-1 to the freshman. Got a good cut. Came up empty.
He's not going to be cheated in this at-bat. But he just gave a nod of approval to his dugout. He knows what this moment means, and he looks like he's ready for it.
Popped up foul over our heads. He was on that one, though.
Good swing, timed it perfect.
When you foul it straight back, means you had it timed. The 2-2 to Kettleson. Gets away from the catcher, and Stanford is going to tie this game fittingly on a wild pitch. And now the throwback gets away again. No more harm done as Krakowski chases it down, but we're tied at 2.
And a pass ball.
And a pass ball.
And that one called a pass ball. That one was I don't know how you dropped that one. It's a high curveball. It looks like it almost crossed up Nico Lombardi behind the plate, because it's not often you see a high curveball get dropped. It would explain in the dirt, but you could hear him say something when he dropped the ball, and it wasn't exactly a kind word, and I don't blame him.
We have had 4 runs scored in this game, none by a ball put in play. Still second and third, 3-2, and a pop foul out of play.
That is incredible. That is such an interesting note. I mean, it's you think 2-2 and you think pristine defense, perfect pitching, and the starting pitching was great. But you're right. It's a walk, 2 wild pitches, and a pass ball.
3-2 with first base open to the freshman Kettleson. And another foul ball, and he was on that one as well. Look at him pounding his chest. He's got Krakowski measured.
Yep.
And we'll see if Krakowski has the courage to throw something other than the fastball here. First base is open. He does. And it is called ball 4. Boy, that was close.
Unbelievable at bat. Even when he was fouling pitches off, the freshman was timing it perfectly. There is a lefty ready in Fullerton's bullpen. Was warming up that whole at bat, presumably for Luke Lavin, and looks like that's exactly the move.
What a strange ball game. What a strange inning here at Sunken Diamond. Single, hit by pitch, bases loaded walk, pass ball, ball 4, and again you're going to have bases loaded, 2 outs, which means 5 base runners, 1 hit, 2 runs, and we've got a tie game.
And almost the exact same lines now that they're closed for Mahoney and Warner.
And Mahoney deserved better, clearly.
I would say, I think both pitchers pitched
Yeah.
the game of their season. It's 2 games in, but the game of their season so far. If I'm anyone in the Fullerton staff, I leave this game feeling uber excited about what Bobby Mahoney's bringing. Same thing for Stanford. If I'm David Esker, Yeah, Parker Warner's keeping that Sunday roll.
Final line for Mahoney, 5 2/3. 1 hit, 2 runs, 1 earned, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. And the new pitcher is left-hander Brady Dokken.
Dokken, my favorite kind of pitcher, a guy that's going to throw strikes, and that's what Fullerton needs right now, really, because his defense has been great. And how about 2 hit batters and a couple walks in this inning and a pass ball? And Dokken last season, 26 strikeouts in 35 1/3 innings. That's all right. 4 walks, and anytime you walk, what is in that circumstance less than a batter per 9, you're doing something very right, especially when you're still able to pick up strikeouts. It's not like he's just lobbing the ball over the plate. It's a good pitcher.
4 innings so far this year. 1 hit, no runs, couple of walks, 3 strikeouts. And will it still be Luke Lavin, or will Stanford go to the bench again? I think Lavin's still out there, so he's going to stay in, lefty versus lefty.
Well, he's the Fullerton Punisher. He had that walk-off yesterday, 7 of 13 in his career. He's got 3 driven in.
And he's thrown out 3 would-be base stealers.
Right. I would not pinch hit this guy right
Stanford's
now.
MVP for the series. All right, here we go. Luke Lavin against Dokken. Curveball outside corner, strike 1. Lavin 0 for 1, walk and a strikeout today. Right back our way into the screen, 0 2.
Another good cut. Tough left-on-left matchup against a really solid left-handed arm. And Lavin timed that one well. Looks like he's seeing the ball well continuously today.
That bounces outside for ball 1.
Keep an eye out for Hayes on third. Is he going to steal home plate? No. But
he's moving around a lot.
He's moving, and we've seen some weird balks in college baseball already this season. And I think that's what Hayes is trying to trigger.
Well, they're not holding him, so he can dance around all he wants. Swing and a miss, strike 3, pulled the string on him, and the side is retired. So, a weird inning for the Cardinal. 2 runs, 1 hit. They leave him loaded, but we've got a brand new ball game after 6. 2-2 here at Sunken Diamond. Back at Sunken Diamond, 2-2, Titans and Cardinal. And to try and make sense of the new look Stanford lineup, Austin Oda. Good luck, my friend.
Philip Chung, Court McDonald, Brock Kettleson in the outfield. A completely new 3 in the outfield, left to right from where the game started. Eric John, Teddy Tokheim on the right side of the infield. Rest of it's the same, so, you know. Fly ball to left, right out of the gate for Philip Chong in the left, but it's the center fielder, Court McDonald. Britton Beeson was the one that hit it. 1 out against Trevor Moore, who also didn't start the game here in the 7th. So Chong, McDonald, Kettleson. Moran and Bates stay on the left side, so if you're trying to keep score at home, don't got to scratch anything out there. Eric John, Teddy Tokheim on the right side of the infield. Luke Lavin still in the game behind the plate. Here's Nico Lombardi, who's 1 for 2, had a single, and then was caught stealing by, guess who, Luke Lavin. Little catcher-on-catcher crime. Trevor Moore's first pitch to him is a strike at the top of the zone, 0-1. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like that inning. 2 runs scored for the Cardinal on a pass ball and a walk, but a plethora of pinch hitters for the Cardinal, replacing all the veterans. So out goes Jimmy Nadai, the senior. Out goes Brady Reynolds, the senior. Out goes Rentaro Sasaki. Out goes Tatum Marsh. Out goes Brock Sell. and the bench made it happen. As Moore goes over the top with a curveball, and it's 1-2.
And they had already replaced Ethan Hott earlier in the game. So there are now 3 position players remaining. Bates, Moran, and Lavin from the Stanford starting lineup in a 2-2 game. It's not 14-1.
No. 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. The slider off the outside edge, and that's the first strikeout victim for Trevor Moore. Don't think we ever got to cap off the line for Parker Warner. 5 2/3, 6 hits, 2 runs, only 1 was earned. A walk, 6 strikeouts. That walk was the last batter he faced. For Warner, who struggled a little bit with the walk last season, to now through 2 games have 11 strikeouts to 2 walks. Fantastic. Here's Kate O'Hara.
Don't mind me, just going to reapply the sunscreen.
Yeah, I forgot how sunny and how warm it got here, and I forgot the sunscreen. So not a good day. We'll see how it ends up this afternoon. I'm good, thank you. Kate O'Hara takes strike 1. The shortstop wearing 50.
Sharing is caring.
It is. I'm feeling all right. There's a little bit of shade right now on me, which is really nice.
Let me know about 9 o'clock tonight how
Right,
it's working out.
exactly. A ball and a strike to O'Hara in all of a sudden a 2-2 ball game. Here's the 1-1. And a big curveball, a little bit tight to O'Hara. It's 2-1. Solo runs in the first and 6th for the Titans. Both scored by Cameron Kim, the third baseman, in the second spot of the order. Neither conventional, as this one's looped into left field, and O'Hara's got his second hit of the day. So that'll bring up Hunter Meyer, the center fielder, who struggled a little bit at the dish today. He's 0 for 2 with a pop out and a ground out. And he'll face Moore for the first time today. Moore came in the 6th inning, 2 outs, runners on the corners, and the runner from first, Max Ortega, started kind of jogging to second. Moore matched him with a little lollipop lob over to second, and then Jimmy Nadai fired a strike home to get the cutting Miller over at home plate. It's Teddy Tokheim at first base. No longer Rintaro Sasaki over there. Tokheim, who's played 3 different positions today: bench, left field, and first base.
Bench.
Not often you see that, as Hunter Meyer takes a ball.
7 hits for the Titans, just 1 for the Cardinal. But the run column, all even, 2-2.
Baseball's weird.
Especially today.
It has been really one of the weirder games I think I've ever watched, as Meyer takes the fastball on the outside for strike 1, especially when you consider it's easy to look at not the final score. This one is nowhere close to being over, but you look at the score right now and it's 2-2. And again, you think you have these ideas of what a 2-2 ball game is, and this has not been that. 1-1, and Meyer takes a breaking ball at the top of the zone, 1-2.
Well, and heading into today, you had a Stanford team that you figured was due to break out offensively. You had 2 Sunday starters, and not to cast aspersions on Sunday starters, but those are typically your number 3 guys in a 3-man rotation. You had a warm day, very little wind, good elements for hitting. I don't think it would have surprised anybody, as the ball is fouled at the plate. I don't think it would have surprised anyone if this game was 9-7.
So the runner from first, O'Hara, didn't stop. At the very least, that ball was fouled.
It was definitely fouled.
Lavin behind the plate is saying that he caught it, which I don't know if there's any way to check that. The umpires will get together and talk about it. But O'Hara kept running.
Guess keep going till they tell you to stop.
The Turtle and O'Hara. And O'Hara wins the race.
No, in this case, nobody else was running.
No. So
there was clearly a foul ball. There's no way Lavin caught that, is there?
I couldn't tell you. He was pretty adamant that he did.
I mean, if he did, that's a tremendous play, because it wasn't a foul tip, it was a foul chop.
Yeah. So I think that's the right call there. They're going to say foul ball, no catch. Lavin can't believe it. He was trying to sell it.
Once again, we remind the viewers, we don't have a monitor. We don't have the benefit of the center field camera. So you watching at home, you know more than we do exactly what happens on a foul ball or a close pitch.
Either way, it's a ball and 2 strikes. Already 1 strikeout this inning from Trevor Moore. from above the belt with the runner on first. The 1-2, a half swing, no swing, says the first base umpire. And
yeah, Mike Jarbo has not been Stanford's friend today. That's twice.
But no real complaints about that one. I think that's the right call.
It was close.
But it would have made him a lot of friends over in that first base dugout. Count even at 2. More from the stretch with the runner on first. O'Hara does not run. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 on that slider. That one was definitely a swing.
He certainly swung at that one.
A pair of Ks in the inning for Trevor Moore. Sandwich a hit and a runner left. We'll stretch bottom 7 when we come back in a 2-2 game. Bottom of the 7th inning, it's the 8-9-1 spots in a almost completely new lineup for the Cardinal. Teddy Tokheim will lead off. He's the first baseman now in his second at-bat of the day. Tokheim grounded out to the shortstop, Kate O'Hara, the first time up. This is still Brady on the mound as Tokheim lines this one to left field, and that's a base hit for Teddy Tokheim, and that's the first in his Stanford career.
It's a big moment. Get that man the baseball.
So it's Brady Dawkin on the bump. That'll bring up Court McDonald. Dawkin came in with the bases loaded and 2 down, and already 2 runs home and struck out Luke Lavin swinging. McDonald will hit for the second time in 2 innings. He was robbed of a hit on a chopper back leading off the 6th inning. Tokheim on first. Nobody out here in the 7th. Dawkin will throw over. Ortega wasn't really covering. My Stanford or my Fullerton defense side of my board looks much cleaner than my Stanford defense side.
Well, you won't know what mine looks like.
Yeah, that's
rough.
I credit you for being able to follow that.
Who says I can?
Right. We haven't seen you on play-by-play yet.
since the changes.
So we'll see. McDonald 0 for 1. Just 1 for 7 this season. Squares to bunt perfectly down the third base line. Sliding is Lombardi. His throw to first is in time. Yeah. But a beautiful bunt from Court McDonald.
Perfect bunt, and it required a perfect play by Lombardi to record the out at first base. That was not routine by any stretch.
That'll bring up Charlie Bates at the top of the lineup for the Cardinal. Philip Chong waits on deck. Bates, who got the Cardinal first hit of the day back in the 6th inning, a 3-1 grounder through the right side. That's just one of 2 hits today for Stanford. Bobby Mahoney, the starter, was spectacular. Lefty on lefty, tough matchup now for Bates. First pitch, he doesn't care. This one blasted out to right center field. Contreras going back and it one-hops the wall. Fielding it over in right center is Meyer. Bates is tearing for third. He will beat it with a head-first dive, and the Cardinal lead 3-2.
And the skies part, and sunshine metaphorically streams down on Sunken Diamond for the first time in this ball game. A blistered baseball into the gap in right center. Bates thinking triple all the way. Would have taken a perfect throw to even had a shot at him. And Stanford has its first lead of the day.
Took long enough, but the good at bats are really starting to pile up. Here's Philip Chong. Chong now looking for his first hit. As they picked Bates off third. I'd gone to my book to start writing, and Bates gets nabbed.
Was that hidden ball trick?
Might have been.
I was writing too, so I did not see the complete sequence there, but that may have been hidden ball trick.
So,
somehow appropriate for this game.
We'll see how it gets marked. Either way, there's 1 out in the inning, and that brings up Philip Chong. First pitch, and Chong takes a called strike on the outside. What a weird game we're playing. So Chong behind in the count 1-0. The first player in this inning to not swing at the first pitch as he takes down in the dirt for ball 1. Charlie Bates, an RBI triple after he hit 3 last season. That was 5th in the ACC. In what was a relatively small sample size for Bates last season. Didn't play the entire year, but you saw him pick him up and put him down. He can run. Chong takes a little bit low on the 1-1. 3-2 Stanford. In a wonky game.
Well, in a game where every run is clearly critical, that's a big play at third base.
2-1. Chong hits it high in the air to left, and you think with a runner on third and none out, this would have done the trick. Instead, it's just out number 1.
Well, it is out number 3.
Oh, excuse me.
Would have been out number 2 in a sacrifice fly, but such is life.
So, Stanford takes its first lead of the game here in the 7th. The hidden ball trick pickoff, which neither of us saw, so it was hidden from us, is the real rally killer in this inning. We go to the 8th, 3-2, Stanford leads. Stanford takes its first lead, 3-2 Cardinal, top of the 8th, Trevor Moore back out for his second full inning of work. He'll face 1-2-3, Ty Thomas, Cameron Kim, Nick Miller. This slot in the lineup has scored the only 2 runs today for Fullerton, and that's exactly what it's going to try to do here in the 8th.
So I can confirm the hidden ball trick.
Wow.
Ball never went back to the pitcher after Bates tripled in the run. So add that to the list of things you don't see every day.
So, Ty Thomas leads off the 8th inning against Trevor Moore and chases in the dirt. Chasing early in the count is not something we've seen a ton today from Fullerton. 0-1. Hidden ball tricks, the only thing I was good at in baseball.
It's good to have a skill.
It is good to have a skill. I'm not sure if this is accurate, but for my knowledge, I hold the record at my high school. So there's a 1-1 or an 0-1 pitch that misses high to Thomas, 1-1.
Dare I ask how many?
3. In only 3 seasons, which is pretty impressive.
So once a year, you pulled it out.
Yeah.
All right.
I tried much more than that. My success rate wasn't very high.
Yeah.
1-1 to Ty Thomas. He goes the other way. Shallow right field. Kettleson has no play on that one as it falls. And that's a start for the Titans. Hit number 8. They've really scattered them here in the 8th.
Second hit for Thomas. 8th hit for Cal State Fullerton. Leadoff man aboard. And again, speaks to the importance of Bates getting picked off third base. Therefore unable to score on what would have been a sacrifice fly on the next play. Could have been 4-2. Instead it's 3-2, and here we are.
So I would say Kim, I don't know if I would say likely to bunt.
I would say book it.
Right. But he's also scored the only 2 runs today, and he's been a menace on the base paths. I don't know if I would want to take the bat out of his hands.
Well,
doesn't look like he's squaring on the first pitch.
He is squared around, it seems like half his at-bats over the course of the weekend, and yet here, not so much. Maybe because he failed to get it down in the first inning.
Singled his last time up. He scored both of Fullerton's runs today, each on wild pitches. Runner on first, nobody out, 3-2. Now he squares.
There you go.
Goes back. Did he go? No. What do you think? Would you square him?
At this point, all bets are off. Would I? Yes. Will he? I'm not going to try at this point and predict what Jason Dietrich is thinking.
Ty Thomas is like a little bit shaken up over at first.
That would be the latest bit of weirdness, would be a guy to get hurt running the bases when there was no play
between
on
plays,
his
right?
base. He was not involved in any way, shape, or form.
I'm at a loss for words. Reminder that it's almost a completely new defense, as 5 of the 8 starters for the Cardinal are no longer in the lineup.
6 of 9 if you include the pitcher
Right.
spot.
And 7 of 10 if you throw in the DH.
The DH, right.
It's a ball and a strike to Cameron Kim. He's got a hit and 2 runs scored today as he waits, squares, pulls back, and it's strike 2.
Yeah, Cameron Kim has not gotten it done from a bunting perspective in this game.
And that's after he had 2 sacrifice bunts in the last 2 games. Right. Or the last 3 games,
Last
let's
3
say,
games,
in this series. So he's behind in the count now, 1-2. Trevor Moore hoping to coax a ground ball in a double play. The 1-2 pitch.
Well,
A strikeout instead.
Take that.
The 3rd of the day for Trevor Moore, and that big 12-6 curveball does the trick. And so it goes for Cameron Kim trying to lay those bunts down. That'll bring up Nick Miller.
It didn't hurt him in the first inning. He wound up getting hit by a pitch.
Might have physically hurt him.
It might have physically hurt him. That's correct.
Nick Miller has a hit today. He's reached twice. He tried to sacrifice bunt as this one's lobbed over to first for Moore. And back in safely is Thomas. He tried a bunt in the first inning. It ended up, he got it down, but Parker Warner made a nice play to throw what was runners in first and second, out at third.
We do have a right-hander warming in the Stanford pen as another pickoff throw unsuccessful. Can't see the number. You've got the binoculars. Maybe you can catch it. But I made the point in the pregame that it would be really interesting to see if Stanford had a safe situation today, who would be called upon in the ninth inning. And I stand by that statement.
Looks like Torin O'Haron, who is kind of the designated closer at this point for Stanford. Miller waiting on the first pitch. A sword on a slider down low, 0-1.
Did pitch 2 innings yesterday and threw 36 pitches.
So we'll see. O'Haron was not at his best yesterday. He was solid in that one, but he's a guy who feels like when the lights are the brightest, that's when he does his best. Just a big momentum guy.
Of course, Moore's been great.
Yeah.
Right now, this is his game.
I would say if one more gets on, maybe we see O'Haron earlier than expected. Miller, a hit today. He's 1 for 3. 0-1. Misses outside 1-1. Miller also had one of the biggest plays in the game on a base running try. I'm not going to say mistake. He was thrown at home plate on the double steal. As you want to add to the strange but true in this game.
The Fullerton dugout is getting admonished for not being inside the dugout and blocking the pitch clock.
Yep. A ball and a strike now to Miller, the senior, as he takes a slider that misses down low. 2-1. There have been 3 pitch clock violations today. I think 2 and a couple warnings.
I thought only 1 today, but there have been at least 3 in the series.
2-1 pitch to Miller. Line drive, right center field. That's trouble. Kettleson, though, has a read on it. Now he's going to fire back to first. The stretch from Tokheim, and it's just a little bit late.
Yeah, that was hit on the screws, but it tailed back toward the right fielder. Kettleson made a nice play and a relatively close play trying to get the double play at first base.
Thought that ball was hit a little bit harder off the bat than I think it actually was, just off the end of the knob. And here's Paul Contreras against the righty Moore. Still with Thomas on first, who does not look like he's moving 100% out at first base still. Might have been a run and hit on that last play. Couldn't quite tell, but it was weird to see him that far away from first base.
Well, as aggressive as Fullerton has been on the base paths, I would be shocked if they try to run on Luke Lavin again.
Right. 0 for 2 on him today, 0 for 3 stealing bases today. That's a nice throw from Moore over to first. Tokheim dropped it, but it wasn't in time anyway. Contreras has struggled today, 0 for 3, a pair of strikeouts. One of 2 Fullerton batters to strike out twice today, the other Nico Lombardi, the catcher. First pitch. Contreras takes down low on that 12-6, 1-0.
Contreras now 2 for 14 in the series.
Not his weekend.
You're a Fullerton fan, you say he's due.
1-0. Sharp ground ball up the middle. Diving is Bates, but he can't get to it. It's Thomas, who definitely is not moving 100%. Will stop at second base. And you're right, Contreras was due his first hit of the game, and there's 2 on with 2 out for Max Ortega, the veteran first baseman. Looks like the Cardinal are going to stick with Trevor Moore. Oh, and right on cue. Maybe a change coming. So Moore entered the game with runners on the corners in the 6th and picked off a runner 1-4-2. Then worked around a 2-out single in the 7th. Here, a couple singles that put runners on first and second with 2 outs.
31 pitches for Trevor Moore.
Moore threw an inning yesterday. So you got to think he's got some bullets left in that arm still.
Yeah, this does not appear to be a stall discussion. This may be a assessing the situation, talking to your pitcher, and making the call kind of deal.
O'Haron continues to get loose in Stanford's bullpen. Cardinal lead this one 3-2, top of the 8th inning. And you want to talk about a big spot, this is one.
And again, O'Haron threw 36 pitches yesterday. You would love to use him just for the 9th.
And ideally with a clean slate on the base paths.
And they're going to stick with more. That was a lengthy discussion.
So Ortega, who's 0 for 2 today with a walk and a strikeout, will hit with runners on first and second. Ortega, who's just 1 for 8 this series. Fullerton will send in a runner at second. Brady Dobson will come in to run for Ty Thomas.
And again, Thomas clearly laboring on the base paths. This run clearly very important for the Titans, down 1 in the 8th inning.
Well, here's Max Ortega, who has played a lot against the Stanford team. Coming into today, he was 5 of 20 all-time against the Cardinal with a couple doubles and a homer. First pitch to him here. This one hit high and deep down the left field line. Chong watches it as it hooks towards the corner. And he was out in front of that one.
Got under it, hit it reasonably well, but easily foul.
Another ball that died a little bit out there, just off the end of the bat. Long reach from Ortega. He took that one off the outside edge and pulled it. 2 on, 2 out. The 1 pitch. Ortega takes a little bit tight with a fastball. 1-1. Dobson, the pinch runner, on second. Contreras on first. 2 down in the 8th. In a 3-2 game. Moore looks back to second. Now the 1-1. Swing and a miss over the slider, 1-2.
It's a good pitch.
Ortega's clearly trying to get those arms extended. It hasn't worked for him in this at-bat. Now he's behind 0-2, or 1-2, excuse me.
Hasn't worked for him in this series.
1-2 pitch. Down and away. Like the setup there. It feels like he's gone further and further off the outside edge. He now opens up the inside corner. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on in a 3-2 game. Moore ready at the belt. 2-2. Ortega strikes out swinging. Chased down and away, and Moore strands the 2-runner threat in the 8th. 3-2, the Cardinals still lead. We'll go to the bottom half, with Stanford looking for some insurance on the other side. New pitcher for Fullerton in the 8th inning, trying to preserve this 1-run lead. It's Joseph Hasso, who Stanford saw on Friday night. Hasso was not great in that one, but was solid last weekend against California Baptist.
Faced 3 batters Friday, got none of them out, and exited the game. 2 walks, 1 hit.
Says he models his game against Pedro Martinez and Jacob deGrom. That's a pretty good list of guys to model against.
Why not?
So bottom of the 8th, J.J. Moran leads off. It's the 3, 4, 5 spots in this altered Cardinal lineup as Moran's got his first hit of the day straight through the 5-6 hole. That's a good start to the 8th inning for Stanford.
Well, Stanford has finally started to amass a few base hits. That's the 4th. Remember, they had 0 into the 6th inning.
That'll bring up Rashad Hayes. As you mentioned last time, the Bishop O'Dowd product. Hayes took a hit by pitch his last time up. His first time up, pinch hitting for Brady Reynolds. And we'll get a little offensive visit.
This is a massive meeting. They got both base coaches, the manager Esker, the base runner, the batter, and the on-deck batter.
It's, you wonder what could go into a meeting like that. And we'll see if Moran has any intention of running, if Hayes has any intention of dropping a bunt down.
Many, many possibilities.
But if you're Stanford, you need one here, at least. Hayes hit by a pitch his first time up, hits with a runner on first and nobody out. 3-2, Stanford leads as Hasso fires over to first. Back in safely is Moran.
By the way, going back to Friday night, Hasso has now faced 4 batters in this series and gotten nobody out.
Not a great weekend. Not what he wanted out of his weekend. He's got his chance still to put up a 0 here and send it to the bats in the 9th. Fullerton will have Beeson, Lombardi, O'Hara, a portion of the lineup that's done all right today for Fullerton. First pitch to Hayes. He will square to bunt and pull back as he takes a called strike. Hayes ready, stands calm in the right-handed batter's box. Moran still on first, nobody out. He'll square to bunt again and pop it up. And the bunt struggles continue for these two sides.
I guarantee you in that meeting, this was not the result they were after.
No, not that. For Hayes, that at bat, or that hit by pitch was his first collegiate plate appearance. Behind the count, hero 2. Takes the slider down and away. Nice pitch there from Hasso trying to get the chase. Stanford looking for some insurance. The Cardinal trailed 2-0 as recently as the bottom of the 6th. A ball and 2 strikes to Hayes. He still squares to bunt, pulls back, and it misses wide. Now moving up to second on the wild pitch is J.J. Moran. Who needs bunting?
Because, of course, they bunt on 2 strikes and wind up getting the runner to second on a wild pitch. That tracks.
I really don't think I'm over-exaggerating by saying this is one of the weirder games that I've ever seen.
Will
2 balls, 2 strikes.
Will he be bunting on 2 strikes again,
Right.
trying to get him to third?
Who knows? 2-2. That's a good swing. So the starter, Mahoney, lasted 5 2/3 innings, gave up 1 earned run, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. 2-2. Hasso looks back to second and to the plate. And a swing and a miss on a fastball, and Hasso's fired up about that one. A big out number 1.
So Hayes' first official collegiate at bat does not go as planned. But the runner gets to second base.
And Hasso's first out recorded this weekend.
It's got to be a load off.
Here's Eric Gian. Gian, who walked home a run his last time up, the Columbia University transfer.
This would also be Gian's first official collegiate at bat, if in fact it goes down as an at bat.
First pitch, sky to the right side. He played a good amount for Columbia as a freshman.
Oh, sorry. First, Stanford.
Right.
officially.
Yes. Struggled a little bit last season in short playing time, but Columbia to Stanford is, and guy had to be doing pretty well in high school.
Isn't that what they call Stanford? The Columbia of the West?
Or Columbia, they call it Stanford of the East. I think it depends on who you talk to. No balls and a strike to Gian here. And he takes a curveball over the top, strike 2.
If this game finishes 3-2, it's going to be a fascinating post-game discussion on the changes, yanking your veterans, putting your freshmen in. It worked, but none of them have actually hit the baseball.
Right.
It's been a lot of wild pitches and walks and hit by pitch. So sort of an incomplete, but I guess at the end of the day, the result is all that matters, and David Esker will take it if it winds up 3-2.
If you're just joining us in the 6th inning, the Cardinal pinch hit 6 different players, pinch hit 6 different players throughout the game. In that 6th inning, Court McDonald was a pinch hitter. Philip Chong, Rashad Hayes, Eric Gian. He waits on the 1-2.
And Kettleson.
And pops it up. Playable maybe down the third base line. Cameron Kim, a very long run, but he makes the catch.
A lot of room out there in foul ground.
A lot of room. Reminiscent of O.Co. But, Kettleson had a walk. Gian had a walk that brought in a run. Hayes was hit by a pitch. Chong was hit by a pitch. It's just such a weird inning. But, like we said at the time, I think it was David Esker trying to send a little bit of a message. And I think the message was received to some level. and credit the Cardinal for not wallowing about it. You know, they're all up in the dugout still. Here's Brock Kettleson, still looking for his first collegiate hit. He's 0 for 4 with a walk. Up and away with the first pitch, 1-0. Stanford just 4 of 24 today. But the Cardinal lead by 1.
You know, you talk about sending a message, and it's not just a message to the veterans who weren't performing. It's a message to the freshmen saying, I have faith in you to give you a shot in a close game in the mid-innings to say, go win us a ball game, right? And I think early in the season, that is a terrific message to send to the entire ball club. And as we know, over the course of a college baseball season, it takes a village.
Very good point. 2 balls, no strikes. The pitch to Kettleson. He hits it high out to center field, but in the park.
Just missed it.
Yep. Hunter Meyer out in the left center alleyway makes the catch to end the inning. So it's a 1-run game. 3-2 going to the 9th. Cardinal lead by 1. Top of the 9th. 1-run game. It's all you.
Alrighty, 3 outs to go for Stanford in trying to earn a split of this 4-game series. And with that, bring on the presumptive closer, Torin O'Haron. Got the win in yesterday's game 1, pitched a couple of scoreless innings. On the season, 1-0, 4 2/3 scoreless, 2 hits allowed, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. And he will face 6, 7, and 8 in the Fullerton lineup. Britton Beeson, Nico Lombardi, and Kate O'Hara. Beeson 1 for 3, singled in the 2nd, struck out in the 5th, fly to center in the 7th. And the first pitch from O'Haron is a fastball on the inside corner, strike 1. Beeson homered on Friday night. Looks at strike 2, so O'Haron wasting no time going after the Titan left fielder. It's 0-2. Breaking ball off the plate, 1-2.
O'Haron wanted it. Stanford wanted it. Can't blame him. Good pitch. Perfect setup, especially ahead in the count 0-2.
Trying to save it for Trevor Moore. Swinging a foul.
Weird because O'Haron was one of the better closers in the country as a sophomore, had 7 saves that year, and then didn't save any games last season. Kind of an up and down year. Such big strikeout stuff.
That's ball 2. Well, in the first save opportunity for the Cardinal this year, and save conversion went to Mike Erspamer. But he has since struggled in his last couple of appearances. 2-2 pitch is grounded foul. .61 senior out of Rockland, California. And that was close, but ball 3. So big pitch coming up here.
Leadoff walks hurt.
Especially up 1 in the 9th. The analytical difference between getting this out and putting this man on first, pretty substantial. Strike 3, down goes Beeson. Big pitch for O'Haron and out number 1.
Leaving it all out on the table. 3-2, you're not thinking slider there if you're Beeson. And O'Haron buries it and gets the chase. That is a gutsy pitch.
It'll bring up Fremont's own Nico Lombardi, who has singled, sandwiched in between a couple of strikeouts. There's a fly ball left field, playable. Chong puts it away. 2 down in the 9th.
I think if there was ever a spot that Andrew Kirshner was available, it would be right here, but I think that pretty clearly signals that he's not available today. Kate O'Hara, however, met with some boo birds. Can't really think of why.
No. O'Hara, the shortstop, flied to right and singled twice. Has 2 of the 9 Titan hits. Fastball down low, ball 1. There's a strike, evening the count. Ball 2. Stanford pitchers have combined for 11 strikeouts on the day.
Moore, I thought, was spectacular in this one.
Struck out 4 in 2 1/3. 2-1 to O'Hara, shortstop and through. Thought for a minute Bates might be able to make a play on that, but it's by him into left field, and O'Hara has his 3rd hit of the day. Maybe that's why they're booing him.
Yeah, guy came into this series, or came into today with 1 hit this series. Came into the weekend with 2 hits on the season, and he's got 3 tonight. And it looks like there will be a pinch hitter for Meyer.
And that will be Logan Hart, who is 0 for 1 on the season, and a meeting at the mound, probably to go over a scouting report on Logan Hart.
Another veteran guy, another Modesto JC transfer, but hasn't had the same success that he did at Modesto. He, though, had maybe the biggest plate appearance of the series, and he had that weird 2-run sac bunt.
Which
Don't
I
think you're going to do that
seen.
in this spot
No.
with 2 outs. But we've seen weirder things today.
2 RBI on a suicide squeeze bunt. I did not see SportsCenter last night, but I have to imagine that was one of the top 10 plays.
I didn't either. I would not be surprised. Again, don't think that's what he's going to do here.
No.
With 2 outs. But Meyer had struggled today. He was 0 for 3 without any hard contact. So Hart, you're getting the left-handed advantage, and you're trying to keep this one going. Get it to the top of the lineup. It's not Ty Thomas anymore at the top, so that's something to take note of as well.
Left-hand advantage is something Fullerton has known nothing of in this game, as they started 9 righties against the right-hander Parker Warner. And you're right. If the big dog Kirchner was available, he would be in the ballgame. First pitch to Hart. Slider misses inside. Two out, runner on first. Stanford trying to finish off this 4-game series at 2 games apiece. Fullerton trying to extend this. Swing and a miss. Had a good cut, came up empty.
You're facing mid-90s right out of bed if you're Logan Hart. It's not an easy matchup.
That's a good pitch, and he didn't get the call on the outside corner.
Close one. Could have gone either way.
Fouled back. 2-2.
Like a lot of guys, O'Hara starts with that changeup grip and then kind of modifies off of it. You can see that circle change in his hold. We'll see if that's what he goes to. Right on left, the first time the Cardinal have had that situation today.
O'Hara to Hart. 2-2 pitch. High ball 3. So now Fullerton has the benefit of the runner in motion, as O'Hara will be off with a pitch. The 3-2 pitch. High ball 4. The inning continues.
You didn't think this one was actually going to be done that easy, did you?
That was a close pitch as well. A couple of close ones in that at bat.
But so it goes, right? And that this is what Fullerton has done all day, all series. They have made it interesting. And how about this at bat for Brady Dobson? This would be the first at bat of his collegiate career.
Well, what the heck, right? Game on the line, down 1, 2 on, 2 out in the ninth, and a strike to start the at-bat. It's the call he did not get on the previous at-bat. Dobson, freshman from Stockton, entered the game. He did, in fact, go that strike 2. Entered the game when Ty Thomas seemingly hurt himself on the base paths. The 0-2 pitch. Strike 3 called? I guess.
What a fitting end, right?
The ball was dropped. The pitch looked like it was out of the zone from up here, but what do I know? Game's over. Stanford hangs on 3-2. And yes, a fitting end to a bizarre 9 innings of baseball here at Sunken Diamond.
Give credit to Stanford just for evening this series in the weirdest way possible, in bringing in an almost entirely new lineup, and in David Esker sending a message, like you said, both to the veterans and to the young kids.
Well, it's great when you can send a message
and win.
And win the game, right? That's check. So Trevor Moore gets the win, his first of the season, and Torin O'Haron gets his first save of the season. Nice weekend for Torin O'Haron. 2 innings for a win yesterday in game 1, and he gets the save here today with a clean 9th inning. And Stanford comes from behind, down 2-0. They tie it in the 6th. They take the lead in the 7th, and they earn a split in, again, a strange, well-pitched series, despite all the wild pitches. Final scores of 4-2, 4-3, 4-3, and 3-2. That's not normal in college baseball.
No, and you can say what you want about the bats on either of these teams, but the reality is both of the teams pitched extremely well in this series. And for a Stanford team that needed a little bit of momentum on the bump, they got just that.
So Stanford improves to 4-4 on this young season, and Fullerton falls to 3-5 on this young season. The Cardinal will continue traditional non-conference play against Fresno State next weekend, but between now and then, you're going to be back here on Wednesday.
Yeah, myself and Kyle Morrison on the call for Waseda University, a true powerhouse in Japan, and that should be a fun one. It'll be cool to see Rentaro Sasaki. I've got a good feeling about him in that game, just an inkling, and that one won't count for anything in terms of the end of the year. It obviously doesn't count to RPI. There's no real way to calculate that, but it's really cool, and it's a good way to expand the culture a little bit.
It's a good experience, and it'll be absolutely fun. You're right, for Sasaki. We'll see how many regulars other than Sasaki are in the lineup for that. Maybe some of these freshmen who got their feet wet today will get another chance to play on Wednesday. In any case, your final score here today in the finale of this 4-game series: Stanford 3, Cal State Fullerton 2. For Austin Oda, I'm Scott Reese. Thanks for checking out ACC Baseball on ACC Digital Extra.